You can just allow more on what air in.
Can you believe I did this 2 weeks ago? June 1st, summer in 3 weeks. Oh my goodness. Time flies when you're having fun. And boy, have I been working in the garden. So let's start on this end where I've got all my ginger and turmeric growing and a couple other little things too. Hi, it is Robbie from Southern California. So what is going on here? Well, this is my ginger and turmeric starting to come up, but I've kind of spotted in a couple little radish seeds here and there. Look at this. This is all turmeric. Remember, as I tell you, if I stick in a piece of tote, these are from a pink tote lid. If you see pink, then I know for sure it is turmeric. If I see yellow, or kind of this yellowy green, then I know it's ginger. That ginger hasn't come up yet. Most of the turmeric's coming up. The problem here, oh, I've got some ginger coming up, is here in this area, it's cool due to the canyon breeze. So my ginger and turmeric does better in July, and then it just takes off and grows until winter. So I have to be aware of that because I get very anxious. Where is it? Where is it? But it's coming. They are coming. And this is them. Now, this is a papaya. It's a strawberry papaya. Got a whole bunch of them. Gary doesn't know where he's going to put them. So I took one, put it in a pot, keeping an eye on it, and I think it's doing pretty good. I'll probably end up doing that to all of them and kind of line them up somewhere until I figure out where I'm going to put them, because they're really easy to grow from seed once you get the hang of it. This is all turmeric, all pink. They're popping up now. Some of them are a little yellow, and I am figuring because it's in different areas here only, and it's the same soil, it's probably too cool because we still drop down to 50 at night and they really like it more like 60. Then here is kind of my work table. So I put a strawberry here. This has been doing really good. I've been picking strawberries. And I love these dish pans. These are the red ones. They're smaller. They're 12 quart. Where do I don't have a black one here. Yes, I got a black one over here. These are 18 quart. So it's like using almost a 5-gallon bucket, a little shorter than a 5-gallon bucket. In other words, it's 4.5 gallons, but it works fantastic. This is some radishes growing along with my, oh my goodness, my garlic. And I grew this in a very unique way. It's very different. You know what? I'm going to have a full video this week for you to watch. But this is fresh garlic. So when we want to use it, we just pluck it out. I've got a whole bunch of it. You'll see it as we go on the garden tour. And you can do it too. And it's going to cost you, what, $2? Not even. Depends. If you want one clove, goodness, that could be 50 cents. You want to get a package? It could cost you $3. Look at this. Forget-me-nots growing everywhere. I just love color in the garden. Look. This is my geraniums. A lot of these are all propagated. This is a propagated one. Oh, this is really nice. Okay, so this is ginger. So my ginger is starting to. They're not really happy, but they're coming up because they want the weather cooler. And that's all right. I'm sorry. They want it warmer. It's too cool here. But they're getting there. So it's going to be perfectly fine. Isn't this beautiful? You know what I love about the forget-me-nots? First of all, I only planted them once from a wild seed packet. Blue. You don't see a lot of flowers that are actually true blue. They may have a little purple in them. And the blue peeking up everywhere, and it's just all through the garden, is just gorgeous. And the bees, they really work the flowers. They're so in love with these. Tomatoes are still coming up through here. We have grabbed a few. We're not really freezing too much now, though I do love freezing them. This is gonna get demolished by the ground squirrels, and that's okay. Let them eat that and not mine. Nectarines this year, not that good. And you know what happened? Here's one. There's a few on here. We had that heat wave that came through in the winter at the same time that this went to flower, and then we had a big cold snap come in and that finished the flowers. So we've got them, like there's one there and there's one here, but I'm not going to get the 50, 60 that I usually get on there. And trees do change every other year, so that's okay. Next year, give it a good prune and trim it back and it will do great. Sage had this thing growing for years. This has been there almost as long as the chair garden. Oh, don't look at the chair garden. It's a disaster. Wait a minute. Then I've got all my apple trees. I'm going to give the apple trees a good prune, probably in the winter, and then see what happens with them. And I want to spot some other trees through here that I buy that are grafted. And no, I haven't grafted them. These I all grew from seed. They look like they were going to do the right thing. They started to get the spurs, but they never threw any flowers. Though they may not be old enough. A friend of mine said it took his about 10 years, and then now he's getting all the apples he wants, which is amazing. Disaster. I have been working everywhere else but here. I will be coming here, and I think once I get serious, I believe I could have this whole thing done in 3 days. It won't take me long, because this I'm going to leave. I love my purple tree colored. I don't like leaving it here due to the deer liking it, but you know, they came through, but they haven't stopped, so that's okay. And then I've got one squash back here, but it needs a whole lot of grooming, see? And then I've got the green sorrel. I've got some wild tomatoes. I'm going to call them wild from last year. My celery went to seed. So I'm going to come through here fairly soon, and I've got to get the cannas out. Those are, well, I'll show you where they're growing over here. They get too big and they're busting the tote. So I'm going to move them. Look at this. Isn't it beautiful here? Truck bed is going to be geraniums and then milkweed for the butterflies, because the butterflies love their milkweed and it gives me less work and I don't have to think about it. Look at that. So I've got one milkweed in there. I'll probably spot a couple more. I've got my pot marigolds growing all through down there. They started in here, one plant. Again, a wild seed pack I threw around here. So I got the forget-me-nots and then I got the pot marigolds out of it. That's all I got. I mean, it's a big box, but the thing is, when you get those big boxes of wild seed mix, it's not seed. It's been either with sawdust or something mixed in there, and there's a few seeds in there, and you toss them around, and then you get some plants. But you don't know what you're going to get. So the forget-me-not started there, and the pot marigold started there, and now I've got them all over. I've got them everywhere. I've got them growing. Any place I'm growing, I move them and they're coming up, and now we're starting to put them in Gary's gardens. I don't know how they're doing. We'll have to check up, but he's going to start planting some. Now let's go back to this. This tomato is really good. They're nice big red cherry tomatoes. I picked a whole bunch the other day. Look at this. Coming up from seed, obviously on the ground, because I wouldn't have planted it here or there. It looks like the same tomato. I should collect some seed. And at the same time, I could actually do some cuttings off of this too. But this is all wild. We come here and we harvest this, but that's basically it. It's not something I would plant in the middle of the yard, and it's doing good considering Gary put all the wood chips down. Look at all. It's all tucked in there. Can you see? It's packed in there with tomatoes. These are all green ones. I do water it, of course, when I come through and water in the evening, but it's just like we looked at it. Are we going to stake it up? Though we did not stake it up. And it's just sprawling like wild tomatoes would do. They hit the ground, and any place that the stem would hit, it will set roots, because you know how they do that. And then they'll just keep growing. So I've got, oh, I'm stepping on one here. Isn't that something? So we're leaving that right now. Okay, let's continue to walk. So there's the cannas back there. I've got yellow and red ones back there. And I took the young ones. That's how it ended up in the chair garden from under there. See what's happening? They dropped the seeds and a bunch got pushed over there. Let me zoom in. See, that's where they are. They got pushed there. And they grow there because of the shade. So there's like the water will run off the hill, and that's just where the underground little creek would be, let's say. It's not an actual creek, but it's a wet area, and the seeds grow there. And then I just go and yank them out and move them where I want. If you move them in an 18-gallon tote, they will take the tote out. My friendly little frog lives in here. This is his place. I don't want to bother him. He sits and he ribbits all night. I can't do much with the ponds right now because the raccoons come in and tear everything apart. So let them do what they want until I figure out what I'm going to do, or they go away. Look at all the pomegranates. It's full of pomegranates. My moringa. Isn't that gorgeous? I come out here and I pick greens every other day to put in my green drink. I grab a great big leaf or two, and it just keeps growing back. I should get some more moringas growing. Now, I haven't gotten too much done here, though I am keeping the celery. That's green. Hold on. I'm keeping a couple of the celeries. I only want green. I don't like the red celery. So I'm keeping that one. I just kind of freshen up the tote. That can go, that's purslane. I could keep it. I mean, it's good to use, but I really want to put something else in there. Then I've got the green sorrel. I'm stepping on all my forget-me-nots. Look at this. And they reseed and come up themselves. And every year there's more and more. So next year there'll be even more. This is a place where I guess when I bring the hose, see, everything is water. I must kind of dribble water here, and this area right here grows more forget-me-nots than any place else because it must be like a little bit of a dip, and it creates a little bit of water here, and that's where they grow. Isn't that cool? Got tomatoes. Now this is wild. I'm going to keep it. It is growing some tomatoes. And let's see what this will be. Just a cherry tomato, but it's come up on its own. Perfect. I know it's doing okay. Look at that. This one too, I'm thinking of yanking this out. I'll see what happens when I get here. I do have some tomatoes on here, which is good. And then there's the pear tomatoes. Now I had bought the original plant, and they're a hit and miss on those seeds. You can plant like 30 seeds. You'll get a bunch of them growing, but not all of them will grow fruit. It's probably I did a whole video on that. It's probably a designer type tomato where you're supposed to go back every year, kind of like the Sungolds, and get new seeds from whoever is selling them. But sometimes they'll make it. Now that plant is not from this year though. This is last year's plant. Look at what it looks like. So I don't know yet if I'm going to leave it there, but I definitely will use the tomatoes. Haven't done anything in here. This is just stuff that's just growing that's from last year. What did I do here? Now this is the butterfly garden. Right now it starts there and it goes all through here, and I've got to get my red stool out and I've got to sit down and groom this. Move out some plants I don't want here. And then that's where it ends, where the cars are. And this is going to be my butterfly garden for the monarchs, though I'm probably going to put tomatoes in the cars. And the hose will reach here, so it's one nice sweep. We're not trying to take the hose that's sometimes at night and I'm trying to shoot it across. No. Then I've got the Mexican sage. That was all cut back. That grew back. So this has worked out really good. I'm trying to keep an area where I have the butterflies. I mean, it would be beautiful to set up in the bird garden, but the problem is I'll be feeding the birds because they'll come in and they'll eat the eggs, especially the little tiny birds that eat insects and stuff. So I kind of separate it. So this would be the butterfly garden away from the birds. Of course, some of the birds are going to find them no matter what. Can't do anything about that, but keeping it separate, it works out really good. But there's a lot of grooming that has to go on here. I haven't even started. And I'm really thinking of taking out, this beautiful little avocado tree. It's really, I mean, it can't really grow in there. And the holes are not on the bottom. They're up about an inch. So I won't get the roots from all the trees in there. Unless I yank it out, drag it somewhere and stick a hole in the ground and drop it in. I might do that, but I'm not sure yet. The purple tree collars, definitely leave that, because even if they're tight in there, you see, it's going to be root bound, and the leaves are going to be small. The point is I have all these that I can make new plants. All I would have to do is cut it, take care of it like you would when you're propagating a plant, and then you can have a brand new plant just flourish. Especially in a new pot, you'll get the leaves that are massive and big. But I'm happy with this. It's kind of growing wild and doing its own thing. And I think that's a good thing. Let's take a peek in the front yard. That not much is going on, and hopefully in the next couple weeks, you'll see some different things, because those totes, though there's not much in there, I already have them prepped. So all I have to do is find whatever I want to put in there. I just been working all over the place, including here too. All right, let's go to the front yard. As we wander to the front yard, this is stuff I still have to plant. Look at that. My purple basil. I've got tomatoes coming up that I did not plant. See, now if I see it trying to grow flowers, it's worth it. But if it's not, they may not produce. This is a weed, sow thistle. And then I've got some geraniums. I've got some, look at that, turmeric back there because I didn't know where to put it. I've got a tree collard here. So I've got things growing. All right. But this is kind of like, if I go to the nursery, this is where it gets dropped, or even where I propagate. I got that from Harbor Freight. There was a piece on the ground. And this, well, that's interesting. Maybe I stuck it in. That looks like blanket flower. Well, we'll see. My front yard is wild. Look at this. I used to grow so many things in here, but now with the shade from the trees, look how big they've gotten. The pine trees are massive. I don't even know how tall they are. They create a lot of shade here. But it's okay. It works out. I have a lot of birds nest in here. Then I've got the geraniums. This one's in the ground. And keep in mind, this is blacktop. And we used to park here, but we can't park here anymore due to the sap that falls from the trees. And so now it's just developed its own compost soil that things can grow in. Hold on, look at this. Oh, that's what the mockingbirds have been doing. That's a carrot wood, and it has a lot of fruit on it. And I've seen the mockingbirds attacking to the ravens, and now I realize, I think, oh, they're not trying to protect the nest. They're protecting their food source. The mockingbirds sit there. Here, let me zoom in. He's following around the ravens and he wants them out because that is his food source, and he doesn't want the ravens eating his food. So the plant belongs to him. At least he's going to try. It works. He does scare them off. Going back to this. So it broke down. I tell you this story almost every month. And that pink one bred with that salmon red one there. And they throw very few seeds, geraniums. It's got to be the perfect setup for them to throw seeds. They look like little fuzzy seeds. This one grew, and this one's got the color from both. So it's kind of a pinky orange, picked up from the red, orangey, salmon colored red there. And so that one is a baby from those two. Isn't that cool? Which I am taking cuttings. I did take cuttings off of that. I'm going to do more. But in here right now, it's just very simple. I'm leaving the totes do their thing. I've got some of this, which is a cross between a celery and a parsley I used to grow, and Gary loves it. I would pull it all out, but he comes here, he forages off that, so I leave it. Then I've got garlic chives, walking onions. I've got mint growing through here. More of this wild stuff. It smells good. It smells like when you, right now that it's going to seed, it smells like celery, but it doesn't really grow a true celery stalk. It grows tall, and then it grows these leaves that look like a flat leaf parsley. Look at that. And he loves the taste. I like just celery or parsley, but I'll leave it for him. Have not gotten to that. Haven't even gotten to this yet. I think I told you 2 weeks ago I would, but I'm getting some fruit. The problem is I get female fruit on there, the flowers, and then I don't have a male that day, so they don't get pollinated. So I'm changing things up. I've got to change my life where it's easier, where I'm not running around looking for a male flower. So that's being changed now. And we'll talk about it as time goes on, but I'm going to try to keep my watermelon all in one place, my squash, my zucchini all in one place, at least most of it. So when I come out there and I see a flower, I can immediately hand pollinate it, because all I have to do is pick the male flower, bring it to the female, and hand pollinate. Will the bees do their job? They should, but if they don't, then I don't get fruit. When I do it, it's almost 100%. I at least get a big fruit. Starting to get more of my turmeric here. This is a blue or black turmeric. It's coming up now. And then this is just regular turmeric. This is another blue one. See the stripe? As it grows, you'll get a dark stripe. And I mark it in blue or a blue bucket. And then I know that's the black turmeric. And then I've got ginger back here. They're just starting to come up. But this one's coming up nice and green. It might be warmer in this corner. I'm moving some here, but out where I just showed you, I think it's too cool. At night, you got the cold air coming up and coming in. We're not going to do Gary's garden, not today. But there's Gary's garden. Look at that. It's a total, oh, I hear the rooster roaming around. It's a total jungle down there. Look at that. And that's his big hangout. That's his man cave. Literally, it's a cave. He's got everything overgrown, but he's got so much stuff in there. Oh my goodness, the bananas, the passion fruit. He's got dragon fruit, gack fruit. Hopefully he'll get gack fruit this year. He's got a lot more growing. Oh, he's got those sunflowers down there. He gave me one. And I said to him, you gave me one. It's growing in my garden, but I can't enjoy it. I'll show you why. But he's got so much stuff in there. Okay, so let's go. Oh, he's going to put a passion fruit here. He brought it up. We were going to put it in the bird garden. Then I looked and I said, what about here? And he said, you know what? That would be a really good place for it. So he's going to put it here and we'll let it grow here. And if it gets really big, which they do, he may put an arch and let it continue on. Wouldn't that be cool? All right, let's go see the bird garden, which I have not touched because I've been working everywhere else, in the dog kennels, on the walls, and in the butterfly garden, everywhere else I've been working. So I'm just letting this thing do its thing. Look at this. Oh no, this beautiful plant, it broke. It's so heavy. So let me show you what's going on here. Remember, all this is gold, literally. Not only does it look like gold, but you put it back and it continues to feed all the plants in there. Now this got top heavy and it broke right there. The thing is, it's got a lot of side shoots. See this? And you want to get it up before the plant starts to turn too much. Now it's just starting to turn. Now, all these big ones all through here could be, and I don't think I have room for all this, individual plants, all of them. If I break that off right now, I have 2 days to do something with, and after that, they'll all just end up being composted because they'll all just die back. So I'm leaving it because it's still attached. And as long as it's attached to the mother plant, which is one big plant in here, it's split off on the bottom, then it's still being fed. And that's why it's still green. It's been this way for about 3 days because it's still getting that little bit. It only needs the smallest amount, but it has to be attached. Now this plant's not happy because it's kind of covering that, but I will get to it and then decide exactly what I want to do. But right now I'm just trying to decide, I'm going to eat a lot of these leaves, but do I want to compost it? Which is fine because I have the whole plant I can take off anytime, but I think there's going to be some pieces I'm going to want to take, and I could actually grow this entire stalk. I have done that. Sometimes Gary takes it, puts it in his yard if I don't want it, and drops it in there, and the whole trunk will grow, but it needs a lot of prepping to do that. Chia seeds, look at this. Isn't that gorgeous? Here's another moringa from the bottom. That's a small one, and I think I'm going to end up cutting this because it's not doing any good. See how small it is? It hangs over nice, and the birds use it for a perch, and the birds are all over here. But I'm debating. That's why I haven't done anything, because once you cut it, it's gone. So I'm kind of waiting, but the chia seed's doing great. I don't know if you remember, but it was struggling from the sunlight, so I put the plastic silk flower here because it was a little tiny plant. It grew past the silk flower, and look how big and beautiful it is. It's going to have purple flowers soon. And then again here, another pomegranate tree, something I grew from seed in a pot. And then I've got the lemon verbena in a pot, but the roots have gone into the ground. It's way back there. Look at this. This is all dragon fruit, geraniums. It's like, it literally is a jungle, which helps bring in the birds because they love that. Bat face kufia. Is that not cool? It's such a beautiful flower. I have yet to even try to propagate that yet. I don't know because I have so many. I've got another one here. I will want to do it. Look at the different geraniums. The coloring is different on all of them. These totes are so old. They're over 10 years old and still going strong. And then I've got walking onions. I was pulling this out, and then Gary told me that the spice finches found it, and they sit here and they eat. I haven't seen them do it, so I've left it. That's a canary seed, and that grew from the seed that they're eating. I've got mint. I've got all kinds of stuff through here growing. Look at that. I've got the pineapple sage. Don't have to do anything with it, which is nice. Just grab some leaves, throw it in there, and water. I don't have to feed anything. None of our plants do we use any type of fertilizer. None of them receive fertilizer because they're receiving the leaves. This is beautiful. This is all geraniums in here I planted, and I can kind of forage through when I want and replant them. Just take off pieces and propagate them. This is I believe this is the salvia. I hear the baby spice finches. I do want to come in here in the summer, which is in 3 weeks, and in the evening come out here and work. I got myself a mosquito jacket. We'll see how that works. Oh, look at that, a grosbeak. Oh, she just took off. That was a female grosbeak. I want to come out here and work in the evening. So when it's hot during the day, I can come out and there's the male. I don't know if you saw the female, but the male's there now. He's letting me know he wants sunflower. It's probably out because they come through here by the hundreds, the birds. Give me a minute, okay? Please. Last time I did a garden tour, I had to stop and give the scrub jay. Now he's screaming for food. I'll come back. Don't worry, I do. Look, I've got feeders everywhere. They're tucked everywhere. This is from like an old refrigerator. Look how nice that is. There's holes, so even if it rains, it goes through. I've got one there, but I have a fountain I want to put there, so I don't want too many feeders there. But I do want to work here at night, and I do get bit by mosquitoes, so I'm going to try a mosquito jacket I bought. It was so cheap, and I think it's going to be fantastic. It'll give me the opportunity to come out here. He is adamant that he wants a seed. Look at that. He's going to scream and scream. I will. Don't worry. He's got such a beautiful song. I will come back and give you your seeds very shortly. And then I've got more lemon verbena. I bought them at the nursery, a tiny plant. And look at that. So this is going to grow up all through here. And this will be all lemon verbena, which I use for tea, sometimes in my green drink. And that's all lemon verbena. So that's an old plant. Bought that probably 7 years ago now, during the winter when it was really tiny and they couldn't sell them. It was all dried up, almost no leaves. Got them for half price. I've got one there, one on the other side of the bird garden, and I'm not sure Gary might have one. So they're kind of all over, and they're old plants, but they're in a pot in the ground. I sunk the pot down. You see me do that. Sometimes I cut the bottom out completely, or sometimes I make slits. When I make slits, that's because I don't want the gophers to go in there. If I don't have gophers like here, I can cut the bottoms of the pot. So we've talked about that for years, over and over. So they're still in pots, but pots that I put them in. Both of them are like that. But I just love the idea that people buy it as an herb, as a little tiny plant, and then they let's keep walking, and then they take off and they grow into a massive tree. This has been a problem. Though it does need a trimming. Look at this. You know what's breaking this? Those band-tailed pigeons that come here. I set up the feeder for them, and they sit and they've landed in my papaya that I planted there last year, and they just land in here, and they're so heavy they're breaking it. They took the perch. No, the perch was actually taken down by squirrels, and I'm going to change that up. They took that down a few days ago, but they land on here and they break up my plants. So we're working on that. I'm working on that. That more salvias I planted in here. Look at that. And then this is that succulent type plant I got. It's what is it called? Moss rose in there. So that's just pieces I put there and it's growing. And then this one's from Harbor Freight. When I went there, it was a piece broken off and just on the street. They had a planter and I broke it into pieces. So I've got pieces growing everywhere. No flowers yet, but hopefully I will. A sweet pea bush. And I haven't done much here yet. I'm just starting. I've got sweet potato here, and I've got to get this planted. I was picking that, but this is all rooted, see? All that is rooted, so I need to get some of that planted. I'm moving. I'll show you what sweet potato I'm moving. Let's keep going. See, I've got so many bat base. That's why I haven't propagated any. And then all this is propagated. The Hummingbird's lunch, everywhere you look. That's why I'm afraid to propagate. I propagate a tiny piece and it turns into a giant bush. It's like, oh no, I don't need that yet. Look at all this. Blanket flower, I've got that all over. All hand propagated, no seeds. I don't know why the seeds don't grow. I had one grow, and it got to about an inch tall and fizzled out, but from cuttings, you can really do a lot. You know, if you're having problems with your seeds, I've got a video up on what's going on with a lot of the seeds. They're basically designer seeds, and they're designed not to grow, not the second time. So you have to come back and buy more. Go watch that video because some of you might be thinking you're failing. I've had so many of you tell me that. You're not failing. You've been failed by the way it's done, and you're not being told, and that is an issue. So a lot of you buy seeds. They put them half price sometimes or even less at different stores, and you buy them from last year thinking you're going to grow them this spring. It doesn't work that way. They're actually either designer or there's something that they can do to it. I don't want to get into details to make it where it basically will only last 6 months. Let's put it that way. It could be a year. And then at that point, the seed is done. for many different reasons. This is where I'm cutting out the sweet potatoes. And they're still trying to grow in this bucket. Look at this. This is cuttings, and they're growing. It was planted in one of these containers. It's spilled over. It's growing in the ground, but I don't want it here. I want this open because I want to know if something's hiding in here or not. Something may be hiding that I don't want. So I'm going to cut it back, and then maybe I'll put this tote had a big plant in it, and it grew over, and I didn't take care of it, so it bent the tote and cracked it. It was my fault. It was a great big broccoli. So it bent it over, but if I put sweet potato in there in a big container and let it spill over, you won't see it, and it can grow in there. And I'll have it contained so I can find the sweet potato. So I might do that. Then these just have to be changed out. Walking onions, just stuff I haven't gotten to yet. Like I said, I can come out here and work in the summer in my mosquito jacket. That will be fantastic. So I get bit up on the arms, and you don't want to be in a jacket out here on a hot night. But with the mosquito jacket, even if a mosquito manages to get through, at least you won't be all bitten up like I've had before in the past. Look at this. This is a jungle of collard. I love my collard because this is my plant food. This is my fertilizer. And just so you know, because I've done this for so many years now, even when I first started YouTube, I didn't have tree collard, but I used regular collard, like Georgia collard, and it works exactly the same. Get yourself some regular collard, even if you don't like eating it, plant it and use the leaves to make fertilizer for your plants, to make compost for your plants, and your plants are going to be happy. This is the broccoli plant that bent that toad I just showed you, and it was double the size. It broke off, so I composted part of it, and now I've got this, and I moved it into that pot, and it doesn't even know it got moved. That's something, I just yanked it out, and it's doing good. It's a sprouting type broccoli, which means it sends out these little heads. See that? And then you can cut that and put that in stir fry. Now this has to be covered before I lose it, but let me see. This one is from last year, and this is doing really good. So this is the sun gold here. Do I have it labeled? There should be a label in there. So I've got from last year a hybrid, which is doing great. I've got the pot marigold. Oh, these are so easy to plant. Look at all the seed heads I've got. I'm gonna do a video. And look at this one, had a whole bunch of flowers on the top. I have found sometimes those seeds won't grow, and they grow like that. You know, I should do a video on how I grow this, because I grow it in such a crazy way. But anyways, I've got the pot marigold and that, and then I've just got to wrap this in tulle very, very quickly, because if the squirrels come through here and decide they want my tomatoes, they will take my tomatoes. It's beautiful. I didn't want to block my view, but what are you going to do? I can take it down anytime, but right now it's not bothering me. I've had birds nest in here, so I'm going to leave it. And that one went to seed. That collar, look at that. I'm leaving that for the birds, because all the birds love the collard and they love the seeds. And then I've got another, that's the other lemon verbena that's growing here. Look how big it is. It goes all the way to here, all the way to the back there. This is all lemon verbena. I can't even get back there. It's like a tree. Isn't that beautiful? And it throws these flowers, these little tiny white flowers, and that has seed heads in there. And the little birds like the spice finches, the goldfinches, they all eat that. All right, let's keep going. This has worked out really good. Look at that. I've got more flowers and more papayas up there. This is my strawberry papaya. And my goodness, it's so sweet. We had already 5 of them this year, and I couldn't eat them all, so I froze it. I made popsicles out of them. I made drinks out of them. They really went a long ways. And then I froze some of it, but I'm going to have a whole bunch more. And then that one is hollowing out, so I don't know if that one will make it, but I'm already growing the new one, so I can replace this at any time, get another papaya. I should do that fairly soon. I have so many. This is where I should put it. Let me step back. I should put a papaya there. Maybe drop the pot down and put it here and really take care of it. Any place you've got water, you tend to take care of it better, because it's just a matter of turning on the hose, watering it. If I planted it down there, then it's like, oh, I got to drag the hose over there and water it. I'll do it later and later. And later doesn't come in time. But when you're right next to it, or you have a watering can next to your plant, it really does work. Keep that as a good tip. And there's Gary's room. You know what? I was in there earlier. I'll show you some clips. He was working in there. So I took a peek And I turned on my camera. I didn't want to bother him. He's got so much going on in there. Of course, she's right there. Yep. I don't know how he knows what needs watering. Oh, the bottles that he starts a lot of cuttings in. Ginger beer. It's not alcoholic. But he doesn't buy it anymore. He makes his own drink now from passion fruit. So many pineapple tops now. So many plants to come.
You can adjust to allow more and what air in.
Gary's little helper was there. Look at that. And it's like a jungle in that room. Unbelievable. I don't even go in there. Look at this. Hummingbird's lunch. Mint, chocolate mint all through here. I use that for my coffee, especially when I'm making it in a press and you're pressing it down. You just break up a whole bunch of chocolate mint leaves, drop that in there with the coffee and press it and you have mint coffee. How big these leaves are. This one's in a pot, also sunk down, and it's just growing fantastic because I can water that pot and the plant gets the direct water. If you plant it directly in the ground, I don't have anything directly in the ground except for the collard. But if you had something directly in the ground, you water it, it could run off. See, it could just disappear. But here, no, it has to go into that pot and it has to water that plant. Isn't that gorgeous? Just another area I work, and I've got more tomatoes and different things to move. But this I'm so happy with. I did this last month and it's growing beautiful. I've got a little bit, away from the bird garden. There's a little bit of milkweed here and there. It comes up because it's all over the property, but I figured a lot of the birds don't come here. They kind of tend to congregate down there. So I've got the milkweed here and then a few things. All right, let's go through the gate. Oh my goodness. All right, so hold on, let me close the gate. I still have to finish in here, though I've got a lot done. I've almost covered this in tool enough, which I haven't done good. I have a little bit more to do. Will something get in there because I didn't wire it with 1/4-inch wire? Probably, but we'll see how it goes. I'm keeping the top open so the birds and the bees can get in there to the tomatoes, and they are doing fantastic. I've got, what do I have growing in there? I've got basil growing in there now in a container. I've got all the different tomatoes. We can do this individually later as a different video. I've got peppers growing in there. Parsley now I put in there. So I've got different things. Some of you are calling it the salsa garden, and that's true. It can be because there's peppers and parsley and basil. So it's coming out good, and I'm still working on it. But I want to do one more wrap on this. And then if a squirrel or something gets in there, I'll just repatch it. The better way to do it, yes, would be 1/4-inch wire. But to buy a roll of that, you're looking at, is it worth it? You're looking at over $100 just to save a few tomatoes. The tool, I'm looking at not even $5. I use nothing. That's why I'm going to do a different type of wrap on it. I'm going to come back and show you what I'm going to do. And then there's other little tips and tricks you can get them to leave the tool alone. So when I come back to do this, I'll show you and tell you what else we can do. I've got it in other videos, but there's little methods we can do. And then this is the garlic, and I'm just throwing that video together, so it should be up in the next few days. I love growing garlic like this. It's fresh, it's green, it tastes great, and you just use it as is. So I've got more garlic to put out here. This is the milkweed that I'm yanking out. And where is that milkweed coming from? I trim a lot of these down, and then I've got to take all the trimmings and throw it in the butterfly garden there. So in case there's any eggs or caterpillars I don't see, just lay them in there. And then I yank them out and I put them in flower pots. That's why I'm still working in here, because I want to be able to walk through here. And then I leave them there. Why? Because I've got the hose there, so I can quickly water them. And then once I know the roots have set again, then I move them where I want. And that's what I'm doing. Look, I've got strawberries. We've been picking strawberries. Cool. I better get that one today before the birds get it. I covered the top because they had zinnias growing, but I thought it was the birds getting it. I don't think it was the birds. I think there might have been some slugs up there, but they didn't come back, so that's okay. So here I'll just show you real quick because I haven't done anything in here. Love my pepinos. I just have to go through on some of these totes and finish them up, which ones I want to plant, squash or watermelon or whatever I want to plant in there. The pepino is staying, and this one I'm going to stand up and freshen up, but a lot of this is coming out. All that milkweed, out. So I'm getting close to doing that. This is my work table where I've got all my seedlings, and I'm definitely labeling things. These are cuttings. So this is the black cherry. So this is a cutting I did. Look at that. Just trimming and propagating off of one plant. Here's another one. Look at that. I did label it, didn't I? I think it's a black. Oh, this is black cherry. Okay, so I'm doing the cuttings in there. Then I took the racks out from that dog kennel. I'm going to use that. Look at this. Is this not cool? I've got lettuce and bok choy growing. Look at that. Isn't that gorgeous? So I can protect this if I need to later. I'm not going to bother. Look at more forget-me-nots everywhere. It's nothing nicer than just standing here working and having the forget-me-nots through here. The pizza garden's going to be cleaned up. I've got basil. I've got different types of basil growing in here. I've got the rosemary, oregano, which I planted up there because it's growing all over the ground. Garlic chives. This is being moved. This is just some turmeric that's growing here. And then what else do I have? Mint, sage. So all this is going to be cleaned up. I kind of like my pizza garden, but it kind of got wild. And then I've got the milkweed, which I may or may not leave because in the summer, when it gets really hot and the sun is just beating on it from down there, it kind of might give it a little shade. So I might just trim this back so I can walk through here freely and just leave it. But we'll see. We'll see when I get to red vein sorrel. This is all pepinos, but here I have been working. I've got, these are pepino cuttings I did all through here, but I've got peppers, see here? Pepper there and peppers here. So this is done now, finally. And this I'm leaving right now, but I can put another plant or two. I was going to move it, but I don't think it's really in my way. This is the original plant that I picked up when I went somewhere a few years ago. And this is a beautiful kind of Martha Washington type. See, it's sunflowering plant, and it's a geranium. And all the plants I've got around here that are purple are from this one. But keep in mind, not all geraniums are alike. These may only flower for months, where some of the other varieties, like these, the wild ones, Gary calls them wild because they drop on the ground, they grow like crazy. They flower all year. Okay, so let's go. And then this is my lime bush. Look at that, my finger lime. Gary's been eating them. There's a little one there. Very spiky, big thorns. This is one that just got moved here. It's still adjusting, but it's starting to get all new growth. So I'm taking care of that. I don't know what milkweed I'm going to do here. Then I've got the peppers there. This one I have to finish. And then this is the one I refreshed from last year. I was going to yank him out. Look, he's picked so many peppers off of this. They look so bad. And I told Gary, I think I'm going to just get him out of here. And then I decided to freshen it up just by adding in more broken down matter and leaves and, you know, from the collard and everything. And it just took off. So they're staying, definitely staying. All right, let's walk over here. Oh gosh, how gorgeous. All right. Gee, we've made the circle. We're done. I'm going to do this individually. There's the same bag of potting mix I've been using since you saw a month ago, because I only use a handful at a time when I move some of the small seedlings. But here's the long dog kennel. Got a lot of work to do, and that is coming along. It's all been redone. I'll show you on a separate video what we're doing and what I've done in there. But I've got all these totes lined up on the ground. I've got so many watermelon plants. I hope they make it, because some of the seeds did not look that good, the seedlings that came up, and I don't know why. Cucumbers are doing really good. They're starting to take off. They were really little. And then the other side I have to redo. Let's walk over here. Okay, so this one's done. This is my pepino. I showed you that in the video. I literally had it growing there and it was cramped. I just lifted it, the whole plant, dropped it in here with fresh soil, and it's doing fantastic. Layering, I always layer. Oh, see? This is why I layer. It brings earthworms and stuff. And it always stays damp. So even if this dries out on a hot day, I don't think that's carrot wood. Hold on. We don't want this. This is a carrot wood plant. it will always be damp there, and it helps the plant a lot. Layering in here too. This is just sow thistle. I'll be getting that out, but here's a small zucchini. They stayed too long in the container. Some of them I grew. This one I grew from Dollar Tree. And will it reburst? It might. We'll see what happens. This one I got to finish. I'm almost done. The seedling's growing. Doesn't matter. I don't want it. Got that one. This one I got to pick. I keep picking. I have so many zucchini now. I don't need that. Look at that. And then this one I just planted up. Again, same plant that I got from Harbor Freight, see? And some of them grow really good. Isn't that something? And then, of course, in there, let's see, what do I got in there? I've got the squash, I've got tomatoes, but this is all being changed. I don't want it that way. Now that I figured out I can use the footprint much better in there, I'm changing it. I mean, I've got this covered area where I know I'm not getting any squirrels or anything. And this is the way to go. Look at this. The monarchs come here and they do their thing all through here. That's why we have so many butterflies. You never know where they're going to crawl. And I've seen them go across the yard. It's amazing how quick a monarch caterpillar can move and get to where it wants. So it could be coming from these, or it could be coming from there, and they just really move. I did pull out a few of these. As long as I can walk through and it's not in the way, I might leave it. And I'm working in here. There's nothing in here to see yet. So we can come through here when I'm done. I've got some lettuce starting in here. And I'm cleaning this up and there's all the papaya back there. And then I've got a bird feeder I did not like. I decided instead of tossing it, I'm gonna make a planter out of it. So we'll see how that goes. I just made that the other day. It's an awkward feeder I bought, and it's just hard to feed the birds in there. It's hard even for the birds to get in there. So I have a planter out of it now. So that's it. You know, we've walked this whole yard. Got the celery in there. All this will probably end up being taken out. I might chop the celery back when I pull all that milkweed out and just lift it because it's green. I love green celery. So we'll see when I get to it. But this one has to be emptied. This one, and this one. And then I'm done on there. So I have done a lot. There's only a few left here to do. I've got the wall, but pretty much done back there. One planter to do. It's really good. Buckets, I'm done with buckets as far as growing potatoes. It didn't grow good. I saw somebody else years ago. He was a big potato guy, and then he moved somewhere and he did all his potatoes in buckets, and he was so disappointed because nothing grew. There's something about buckets that they don't grow right. And on top of that, you can't use the store-bought anymore. You used to be able to just buy them from the store, any of them starting to grow, drop them in a bucket and they would grow. They're designed now, a lot of them, not to grow because the farmers, every time they redo their farms, have to buy what's called seed potatoes. And that comes from certain growers, and it's all controlled that way. So there's different methods of doing it. But even the seed potatoes I had bought in there, they didn't do as good as maybe a tote, something bigger, giving them more room. It's something about the whining, I think, the way the roots have to grow inside. And it didn't work that well. So I'm going to use the buckets for other things, and then I'm going to clean all this up. This is potato mint. I don't want it. Oh, look, a zinnia. This is a weed. We don't want the weed. But we leave it. It will compost there. Gary bought it, and I'm telling him, take it. He wanted it. It's just too hard to fiddle with to eat. You pull them out, you get these little tubers. Kind of tastes like jicama, or jicama. And they're really good, but you've got to dig them out, wash them up, and then chop them up. Neither use them for cooking or raw. You can put them in a salad, but I don't need so many. I ended up with that one full in there. This one here, this one here. There's pots all scattered through there because I put them in pots. And then I've got this big tote, all potato mint. And you know what's sad? They're so hard to find sometimes, and some people spend a lot of money to get it, and I don't even want them. Oh, and then back here, I'm going to leave this milkweed. I've got Malabar spinach growing back there, and that I just put there. I figured I gave it a double pot. That pot's in the ground, bottom cut, no bottom. And then there's a small pot on top, and it's going to go up the ladder. And Malabar spinach I do use in my green drink. And, well, sometimes in a salad. And it's not my favorite thing, but I do use it. I hope you enjoyed this. It's early, yet we've got a lot of sun today, and it's going to be warm. I'm going to go have breakfast. I see all the birds coming in. Oh, goldfinches. They're saying, go away. You know why? I had some lettuce out here. I put it, oh, here it is. And this is, I let my lettuce go to seed. I should do this. Oh, that was stupid. Now I'm going to have a ton of lettuce growing in here. This is the lettuce, and it was growing in the dog kennel over there, so I brought it out here, and they've been eating that. And how do I know? I was standing here the other day. I didn't even have a camera in hand, and I didn't know there was a whole bunch of them hanging off of here. I'm standing right here, and all of a sudden they looked at me, and then they took off. They scared me. I didn't even know they were there. So I put the lettuce heads. There was another one on there. I left that for them. They come and eat it. I just love the idea that we can just garden with nature. As long as I grow enough for them and me, then everybody is happy. Nobody touches these until they start to sweeten up, and then the squirrels will pull them off. So I hope you enjoyed this. I'm gonna go get breakfast, and we'll do this again in 2 weeks. And hopefully in 2 weeks, I'll have that completely finished. I only have one more there to do. I've got one more there to do, and then if all works out, I'll get this done and do that there. And I'm lining up a lot of my plants close by. Like this is all gonna be zucchini. So when I'm looking for a male flower, it's gonna be at my hands. There's some in there. This is my goal. And then here, I might put some watermelon. I'll see, I've grown watermelon here before, and I've grown a ton of it, but I also have watermelon in the dog kennel where I know nothing's gonna touch it. Generally, the watermelon isn't touched by anything because they don't want that until, again, it sweetens up. But the dog kennel, covered in 1/4-inch wire, is wonderful. Once it's covered like that, you have nothing getting in there. Just the little tiny pollinators can get through. I did not cover it with tulle. They get in there, they do the pollinating, or I hand pollinate some, so it works out really well. So with that, have a wonderful day, and don't forget to eat what you grow. Bye-bye. Well, I'm almost there. I probably, if I could get one day out here just to work for probably 4 hours, I get it done. I just don't seem to have that time. Not with everything else has to be done. It takes me 3 hours to do the hummingbirds every day, at least. Oh well, I'm gonna go get breakfast. And about those sunflowers that Gary planted and had me put in my garden, they're so far up, I can't even see them. Look at that, they reach the sky. But they are gorgeous, aren't they? And Gary said I can do a lot of cuttings off of that, so I plan on doing that fairly soon too. They're in this container. Is that not cool? But there they are, reaching for the sky. What a beautiful plant.